Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you might be listening to the podcast. This is another edition of the Backyard Sports Talk. We have some big MLB news, we have some big wrestling news, and NFL is heating up with the regular season just around the corner. The biggest MLB news to be looking forward to and it caught a lot of eyes over the weekend when Rob Manfred spoke about a potential MLB expansion and possibly realignment. So we'll get into that and we'll kind of get into our thoughts on that. But first, as we always do, we will start with wrestling. Once again, welcome back to the Backyard Sports Talk. I am Reid Jaco and
And I am Danny Jaco. Good evening.
welcome back. And we had some bombshell news last night on Raw. And the biggest bombshell news probably of the year is we have a relinquished title, and we do not currently have a women's world champion. So, Dad, you want to go ahead and tell us why we don't have a women's champion?
Yes, because Mr. Jimmy Uso and Naomi, who is the current champion, are expecting a child, and congratulations to them for that. Because I think they're kind of late in the ball game for her, meaning that I think she's 37 years old. Just kind of the way that Mother Nature is. We shouldn't go a lot. Women shouldn't go a lot longer than that. So I mean, if they want to have a family, it's important for them to start right now. And I agree. The only thing I can say is it's a little bit of a shame that her wrestling is probably the best it's ever been right now. So you can hope that she has a very healthy child and she can come back and pick up where she left off.
Absolutely. She is 37 years old, and Big Jim is 39. So they're right there at that kind of that invisible line to where, you shouldn't have children because it could be harmful for your body. But that's here nor there. We do wish them the best in her pregnancy and everything goes well, that they have a healthy little Uso or whatever they were chanting baby Uso, I
Baby
think,
Uso, yeah.
on
Why
Raw.
did she go nuts on the GM for?
I don't know what that was about.
Act like it embarrassed him.
I think it was all obviously the part of the storyline, but I think it was to paint that she's pregnant, she has raging hormones.
Okay, because it acted like it kind of embarrassed him a little bit.
Right. No, I think it was good. But as she finished up her promo, she quipped that she might return breastfeeding with my baby in my arms because she was warning the rest of the roster to proceed with caution.
She sure did.
So she had to relinquish her title. So we will possibly have a maybe a kind of a maybe triple threat or fatal four-way next Monday night to kind of, or even closer to.
Should be a full blown tournament.
Well, here's my argument is why I think it's going to be possibly a potential triple threat or fatal four-way to determine, because Stephanie Vacure automatically gets her a title opportunity at Clash in Paris. So yes, we weren't planning for Naomi to go out and have a child, but it's also not fair to say, well, Stephanie, it's okay. You're not going to get your title chance right here,
She may
even though you promised.
You may have to get it at another time. But I'd like to see a tournament started, and Becky, being the number one contender, she should get a bye in that tournament because she's the intercontinental, the U.S. or whatever she calls.
Who is it?
Becky Lynch.
Okay.
I'd like to see her get a bye in the tournament. That's where they used to do it. Number one contender would be either U.S. champion or the Intercontinental champion.
Right. I personally think you would be better off to say, okay, let's take some of our top women and say, let's have a triple threat or fatal four way to determine an opportunity, and then at Clash in Paris, you crown your champion then.
Yeah, that's true.
And I personally think, and however they get there, it's completely on them. But I think it should be Lyra Valkyria versus Stephanie Vacure at Clash in Paris.
You think Lara's really ready for this?
Absolutely. I mean, she's way over. I mean,
Her work is getting criticized pretty hard in the podcast world,
yes, but here's the thing anymore.
but she's over.
That don't matter.
Yeah.
If she's over and she's selling, they're liable to put the big crown on her.
She is become very popular. She's very well over.
I mean, look at Jimmy Uso, or not Jimmy, Jay Uso's reign all year long. I mean, he wasn't stellar all the time, but he was over.
Yes.
So I mean, in today's state of WWE and pretty much wrestling in any promotion, if you're over, it don't matter how good you are or not. I mean, if you're over and selling, you're probably going to get a pretty good ride.
That's true. What if they took one show, and made it about that, and had a battle royal?
Well, I'd also thought about that, but I think what you want to do if you did a battle royal, you would have to give either Stephanie a shot at Clash in Paris, or they just pivot altogether and have a battle royale at Clash in Paris and let Stephanie be the last one in.
That could be, yeah. Usually a battle royal, everybody starts. The Royal Rumble is designed differently, where you go in time. But usually a battle royal, if it's a 10-person battle royal, everybody starts at the same time. Yeah, I guess you could run it similar to or maybe just say, because Becky isn't already holder is technically a number one contender.
Well, no,
so she would get a bye in a battle.
I thought the way the battle royals worked was that so you know, they can, I guess, work like this, but like two people start in the ring, obviously. Then whoever gets out, then another person comes in, and then
No,
those
that's
two
Royal
wrestle.
Rumble. That's how it's designed. But a regular true battle
But
royal, everybody
no,
starts at the same
but the
time.
Royal Rumble is, somebody can stay in there for
True.
minutes and upon minutes.
Not true battle royal is how many men it is. If it's a 10-man battle royal, then they are 15-man battle royal. They all start at the same time, and the last one in there wins.
That's fair enough. So Bailey playfully teases Jimmy Uso after Naomi's announcement. Bailey added a lighthearted moment to news by poking fun at Jimmy Uso via Instagram jab. Meanwhile, the women's division is wide open for contenders to vie for the vacated women's world championship. So, did you see Bailey's post?
No, I missed that.
So it was a picture of her in Big Jim, and she goes, "Thank you, Big Jim," with like 27 M's. To Jim, like she's yelling it.
Right.
So I mean, it's all fun and games, but everybody's going, thanks, Big Jim, thanks for this, but she's got a good opportunity for the champion.
But think Becky will ever be champion again?
That I don't know.
I think she's about done. As a top contender, I think she's getting. How old is she?
That I don't know right offhand, but I think she is interesting because I don't because I mean look at um Nikki Bella. She's going strong.
Yeah, I don't know if she's champion material.
Nikki is 38 years old.
Becky will have another title reign, one more. I think Charlotte will have one more.
Oh, Charlotte won't have anything. All she'll have is I think she'll end up maybe with a mid card belt, but she's not going to go and have the women's championship.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. Becky's still wrestling good. Becky's still on top of her game.
Absolutely. So, last night's Raw was pretty legendary, and at the end of it, it seemed like potentially that Roman Reigns, and could this be a Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed match at Clash in Paris?
It's that kind of makes you wonder, don't it? That's kind of how you get the feeling of that.
'Cause that is the vibe I got in the kind of the interaction. Once that he was out, Roman was out there, and I guess the Visionaries group was headed back to the backstage. Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns were kind of yelling stuff at each other, and it kind of sounded like a potential to where that could be your Clash in
Yes,
Paris
it very well
match.
could.
And another thing that I'm happy with discussing Raw on here, Sheamus and Rusev, they're getting a PLE match.
And I like that, but a lot of people I've been is kind of tired of that feud. But I kind of like it. They go wild, man. They get
Okay, but here's the thing though. It's yes, it's went on for a couple of weeks, but why weren't we complaining about the feud with Gunther and Jey Uso?
right. There's been others that went on for a long, long time too. But I like it for the fact that it gets so crazy they have to bring them out. They're fighting everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it'll be a good match.
Let me say one thing before we move on. Something that's really bothering me a lot. We are getting too many matches without rules, extreme rules. I think that's good, but I think you do it too much, and then it takes away the excitement of it. There's too many of them, way too many of them. They need to cut that back. Like I said, I like a match like that occasionally, but you do them all the time, then there's nothing really exciting about it. You need the
That's a fair
rules. You
point.
need the rules.
What did you think about the main event last night?
It was good. Ron Breaker's got. You can still say he's got a lot of rookie in him yet. Not really a
Oh, for
rookie, but
sure.
he's really.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that he's really not kind of wearing. I think he kind of hurt his knee. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think he did. I think he was telling that
I
he
think
wasn't
he was
feeling.
kind of hurting
Yeah,
there.
because why else would Jey Uso have left off on him and went over and started pulling tables out? You'd have kicked him while he was down.
Yeah,
I think he said something to somebody he needed a minute, and but he didn't want to leave. I think's what it amounted to, and I
right.
think
But I'll be honest with you, the one of the most beautiful things that I saw all of Raw last night was Roman Reigns come out of nowhere and give the most perfect spear that
yes,
we have seen in a
yes.
long time.
Heyman was spectacular on the mic last night in
Absolutely.
Philadelphia. Where he's from, and
Yes.
started calling street names and stuff. And I mean, it was. I mean, Paul's always good, but to me, last night he was exceptionally good.
The one of the biggest things that I really liked as well is, there at the beginning where he started telling or no, it was it Paul or Seth that was telling Braun Breaker that your your uncle, he's saying something about your
Yeah,
uncle,
it was
your
Seth. I
dad.
was saying, they said your dad something or another. Your uncle said calling your uncle a moron. He was getting him all pumped up.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. How do you think about the tribal thief?
I like that. That's a good. It's a good. He's got two pair now. You didn't
Yes.
know what was going on that at first because we had talked about it, but
Right.
he's got two pair now, and
He's
he's
got
the
two,
tribal
yes.
thief. I
Tribal
think that
thief.
is hilarious. That's all Heyman.
Yes.
You can tell.
Okay, and let's go over this again because I texted you this last night, and I don't think you really understood. OTC is
Uh,
original tribal
Original
chief.
tribal chief. Yes,
Yes, he
that's Roman.
Roman Reigns is the
TC, the
OTC.
original tribal chief. Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes.
So
That's a new acronym.
yes, it really come about when he come back, but we had heard a lot about it during the Bloodline storyline. So um, it was, I guess, officially made official. But LA Knight has officially moved to the WWE Raw roster, following his surprise win over Seth Rollins on Saturday night's main event. LA Knight has been quietly reassigned to the Raw brand. His transfer, tied to the Ruse of the Century storyline, positions him for a potential world championship in a fatal four-way match at Clash in Paris.
They're starting to get LA Knight. They're going to fool around till they really get him over. He's getting closer all the time.
I think he's over. Because, I mean, how many people? Because, I mean, he's got the Slim Jim commercials.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's not
And
over, but he's not over like Seth.
no, I mean, but, I mean, he's over.
Yeah, he's over. I mean, now.
And, I like the, yeah.
Yeah. And he He kind of told Punk exactly what he felt, didn't he?
Yeah. That
I
that.
think he and Punk will end up in a feud before it's over.
Oh, I think so. I'll be honest with you. I think one of them will end up champion.
Maybe.
As much as I think that Seth is going to continue,
Mm-hmm.
I think he will lose, and then him and Roman will get into a good heated, and I think they'll have a match for the ages, potentially at maybe a Survivor Series or maybe even after the first of the year, because I mean, to me, with those guys' ages, I think you have an opportunity to give those two guys one last great match.
Right. You know, the thing about it is versus wrestling years back. I don't know. I think merchandising, WWF probably started merchandising in the late 80s, I'm guessing. Some WCW didn't till the 90s, probably. Uh, but back then in the 90s, you couldn't get merchandise for a heel to sell hardly at all. But now I think he'll sell about as much merchandise as Babyface does. But back then, if you turned heel, like this, when Austin went heel that time, the only time he went heel, uh, Jim said Jim Ross said Austin's merchandise plummeted.
Really.
But now it seems like they can put a heel in there and they'll sell merchandise.
Oh yeah, I mean, look how much stuff that Cena sold over the summer.
Yeah, I wonder what Gunther sold. I bet Gunther sold some too.
Gunther's probably sold a lot. So what I heard, we're speaking on Gunther here. We're not getting too far off track. Still talking about WWE here. Um, Gunther was supposed to have some type of nasal cavity surgery,
Oh, that's what it.
and apparently he was going to cut his nose, but he failed to cut his nose and cut his forehead instead because he backed out at the last minute. So that's all hearsay, rumors, but he was that's kind of why that they were kind of pivoting to that.
Cut your nose out. Forehead's always where they cut. You know, it's the best, safest place.
Right. But that's I don't know if there's any truth to that. You know how people talk, but
Right.
I mean that is what I've heard more than one time. So that's going to be interesting. Could he potentially be a number one contender for possibly maybe the Royal Rumble? I mean, it's crazy that we're in August
I'll tell you,
already talking about the Royal
we've
Rumble.
not heard the last from Gunther.
Absolutely not.
He's got a long way.
Oh, he's got a long
because you got guys,
way to
you got
do.
young guys in there. Braun, Gunther. Gunther's not as young as them, but still younger. And Bronson, you got guys like that that are got a big future ahead of them.
Oh,
L.A.
absolutely.
Knight is not as young as them, but he's still got a pretty good ways to go.
I think he's got at least one big main card title run, and then possibly a couple mid card title runs.
I think Seth will be one of those guys that goes as long as he can.
I don't know if you mentioned his name, but Logan Paul is another one.
Yeah, there's another young one. Yeah,
you know, he is like top notch, and because he was kind of iffy, but I heard him say on his podcast at the end of last year, he said in 2025 that he was fully committing to WWE.
Oh, he's good. He really is.
He has been.
Yes.
He has been fully committed to the WWE.
And I cannot understand what is going on with Austin Theory. If he's hurt or whatever, that guy to me had some potential for a young guy.
Well, what I heard, and this is all rumor hearsay, he was a Vince guy. Vince really liked him.
And I liked him too.
And I think since Vince was trying to push him, they're kind of moving on from him.
Vince liked Roman. Vince loved Seth. I mean, he loved them guys too.
I understand that, but that's just kind of the vibe that I was getting. It since that he was kind of a Vince was, he was Austin Theory guy, so he's like, probably not, and I'm surprised we haven't heard him to be officially released yet.
Yeah. I don't understand how these companies, I mean, I understand it a little bit more WWE, I guess, but still have these guys that you're paying just to sit on the shelf and do nothing.
Right.
I don't get that, how that's good business. I know they can't be on every show. I get that. But Austin Theory ain't been on the show all summer, has he?
I don't think so.
I don't think. And AEW is terrible about that.
But
How many times did Rusev actually do anything on AEW when he went there? Hardly any.
I didn't hear his. I think he wasn't he Miro over there.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him.
When he first went over, he did some stuff.
I didn't, but I didn't ever hear him headlining a pay
Uh-uh.
per view or anything. And
No.
that's a guy you could headline a pay per
Oh
view
yeah,
around.
absolutely. You know, if a guy is getting older, I don't blame those older guys for going to AEW. They don't have to do much.
Right. So, one last thing here, then I'll mention something else about a potential WWE return. So, WWE is apparently considering a PLE event against AEW's All Out in September, on September 20th in Indianapolis, which would directly compete with AEW's All Out. And the potential rumored main event could be John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Test. Now, is that better?
You're not hearing through your.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back on now. I bumped something. Do you think that's necessary for him to do that?
I mean, potential. I think it's all just pettiness.
WWE is not. AEW is not even remotely threatening WWE. They're so much farther ahead.
If you listen to Tony Khan, he says we're coming for WWE in a roundabout way.
In,
He hasn't officially said that, but in a lot of his social media stuff has been, basically we're coming for you.
in my opinion, Tony Khan needs to keep his mouth shut and not motivate them any. Just do your thing and don't even mention WWE. Just keep it to yourself. Don't motivate them because you're challenging them like that. You're going to make those guys because they got the money, they got all the resources to go full ahead after it.
Oh yeah. I
So
mean,
if I was Tony Khan, I'd just keep it to myself. And you can have that goal. Nothing wrong with him having that goal, but
I mean, you want to have a goal like that, but
yeah.
I don't think that you need to sit there and spout that kind of stuff
You know,
off.
when Eric Bischoff started challenging him real big, WCW was rolling hard and getting bigger all the time, especially when he started giving the results of Raw away. No need to watch them other guys. Here's what happened.
You don't need to flip over to the other guys.
That was actually pure genius.
It was good. So there is a potential WWE return in 2026, as the contract of Chris Jericho is up in AEW at the end of 2025, and there is potential rumors that Chris Jericho could make a return to WWE, and he even liked a social media post saying that he could, that obviously had this rumor out. So this is a legit rumor that could have legs and not just be a bunch of hearsay bull.
Well, I've been saying that for a while. Not because any rumors I heard, just because I know how wrestling is, and I'm sure Jericho was going to want to. I think Jericho would retire from WWE. Well, that's where he had his. Although he wrestled everywhere, but what is he? Six-time champion or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's where he's going to want, I think, his retirement to be.
I mean, him and Sting are the only two to wrestle in the big, I'm going to say the big three.
Yes.
And Sting even went a step further and wrestled in TNA for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
But they both were in WCW,
Mm-hmm.
both WWE, and then both AEW. Can you name anybody else?
Nope. There's nobody else. Punk was never in WCW, but he was in Ring of Honor. But no, there's nobody else. Jericho's the only active one still.
Right.
Y2J. But no, that's it. And Jericho is got to be getting towards the end of his career.
Well, yeah, for sure.
So he.
What is he? Probably your age?
Yeah, he's around. No, he's younger than me.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's younger than me. He's about. I'm guessing if you looked him up, he's about 52, 53.
Okay.
But he's got a fine podcast himself that does really well. I'm sure he's busy with.
Right.
Really busy with Fozzy, his band.
Yeah.
Really, they tour a lot. They do a lot, and it's a good band. It's really a pretty good band. And he just got plenty of stuff that Jericho's one of them guys that he stays after it. But
for sure.
I'm guessing that Jericho will be retired within 2 years.
Maybe. I mean,
Wrestlers have this way though, just like Goldberg said, you just keep going and going and going.
yeah. I mean, but I could, unless Tony Khan says you got to stay with me,
Right.
and here's,
Let's see, throw so much money at him.
yeah, here's my 401k, and
Mhm.
here's everything else. He goes, stay with me. But I mean, I could see that Jericho make like a surprise return and say something like, a potential elimination chamber or
Jim
something
Ross
like
says
that.
Cash has its own vocabulary.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we're gonna go on and move on to some MLB news. So Victor Robles has been suspended 10 games. MLB has issued Victor Robles a 10-game suspension with undisclosed fine following an at-bat throwing incident during a rehab assignment in AAA with Tacoma. The punishment is delayed until he is back on MLB roster, which he is appealed, and the outburst came after Robles has been hit by pitches multiple times in the series. I understand where MLB's coming from. I get it. You're trying to preserve the game of baseball, but if you're legit pissed off because you've been hit multiple times by a pitcher or a team in a series, I'm gonna be mad too. I mean, it's that. I mean, I don't know why we're getting to the point to where we can't throw any frustration at all. And I mean, I don't have a whole lot of information on Victor Robles of the incident. I just have the information on the suspension, but were there anybody hurt? If there wasn't anybody hurt, then let it go. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even worry about it. But hey, I don't know. Another injury report is Vlad Guerrero Jr. has undergone an MRI. He had to have an MRI due to an injury, leaving the Orioles, the not Orioles, the Blue Jays lineup uncertain. This development could be meaning implications for fantasy baseball managers. So you might have to fix your lineups. Bryce Harper blasts 2 monumental home runs last night's action. Bryce Harper launched 2 exceptionally long homers, making a standout performance that dominated baseball's headlines. So think about this. Your Washington Nationals, it's 2018. You have one of the best right fielders in the league, and you call up this young guy because you have so many injuries. It ends up being Juan Soto. So for literally for almost the entire season of 2018, you have the best right fielder in the league and the future best right fielder in the league. And now you're seeing them at your division rivals totally killing your pitching. How does that make you feel as an organization when you have two of your potentially biggest names in your franchise's extensions go out and hit bombs off you every night? It's sad. I understand that the Nationals couldn't afford to give both Juan Soto and Bryce Harper $300 million or $700 million contracts. But Dad, let me ask you this: if you had two of the potential top players in your organization for a year, and now you're staring at them, not not even 10 years later, they're both on two division rival teams hitting bombs off you every night. How does that make you feel as a fan? And how does that make you feel as an ownership? Talking about uh, Bryce Harper with the Philadelphia Phillies and Juan Soto with the New York Mets.
Makes you feel like you gave up too soon.
I get that, but I mean, Bryce Harper left in free agency, and You did trade Juan Soto because you pretty much had to, but it still kind of upsets you in,
Yes,
in
but
in a way.
it is true. But how much was he was, and he was costing him a fortune, though, wasn't he?
So both of those guys together would cost over $1 billion
So you got to
in
be
their
you
years.
got to be thinking it would be nice, but those two, one guy can't run a team.
It's still sad to see, though. I mean, regardless of what you thought about the guys, those are probably the two best players that have ever played in your organization, not pitchers.
Right.
Um, so I mean, because you've got Ryan Zimmerman, who was elite first baseman for the Washington Nationals, and then you had these two guys, Bryce Harper and Juan Soto.
Isn't
So
Bryce Harper a little injuries problem at times though?
I mean, at times, but since he's moved to first base, he's been golden. Yes.
Well, I think that thing it is not. That's a lot of money.
Oh, I mean, it is a lot of money, but I mean, it still
Still
kind of hurts.
frustrating, yeah, to,
Yes.
to know that you had him on your team.
Right. So MLB is nearing some new media deals plus the expansion realignment teasers. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred revealed that MLB closes close to finalizing new media agreements to fill the void left by ESPN's departed contracts. These discussions also involve plans for league realignment tied to expansion ambitions, sparking speculation on how MLB structure might shift. And Dad, I'll let you kind of go on what you had discussed about the expansion, but I'm going to pull up my list of what I would expand to. So I'll let you go ahead
Well,
and
what
kind
I'm
of
going to
talk.
say has no relevancy on the play itself. But come on, why are we trying to change the complexion of the game so much? It's always been the NL versus the AL. Why do we have to go to East versus West? It's still the same. I mean, come on. Uh, it's always been. I mean, this was tradition. This was always the way it was. I mean, that's when all the way up until the. It's only been what less than 5 years. The DH was added full to every team.
2022 was the first year that the DH was listed full time for everybody. It was used in 2020, which was the COVID season, the wash season, and then the pitchers were brought back to hit in 21, and then in 2022, then that's where the DH come full time.
I think that I'm not saying that won't happen eventually. I just feel like that there's enough of still older baseball fans out there, a lot of older ones that won't want to see that. That's what I'm thought. When I think that in time that will probably be the appropriate direction to go, but not. I feel like it's way too soon.
Well, I think now that there's no distinction, I mean, why not just go ahead and change it?
There's not in the NFL, and they haven't changed it.
Okay, but that's comparing apples to oranges. It's two different sports.
I know that, but I'm talking about how they run. So I don't know. I realize that it don't have anything to do with the play anymore, but I don't know. Do you like the fact that there's no actual designated interleague play? Do you like the fact that
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people are calling for get rid of interleague. You don't want to face them at all. Yada yada yada. But I like that because if that's the case, then the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who has had a storied history, would never ever play each other unless they both got it to the World Series. And how many years did it take for them to both get to the World Series?
well, try I don't necessarily want to see it go away. I just liked it. I kind of liked it when we had actual interleague play. So therefore you play probably one division of the American League each year, through interleague play. And the thing of it is you would go many years before a certain team would come to your facility, and it was kind of exciting because I mean, when's the last time you're thinking if you're a St. Louis Cardinal fan, when's the Oakland A's been to St. Louis last, if ever? I think that brought a little bit of excitement to it to the game. That's the reason I liked them playing, but I liked it when they had the designated American League like weekend or whatever. I think that worked. I think that brought some enthusiasm and excitement. I liked it like that.
It was fun when there was a distinction. There's no distinction anymore. So if you're gonna do this, why not just go ahead and do a full realignment and a full on go for um, expansion
Well, let me ask you this, and I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm kind of mixed on it a little bit. Was the DH the right thing to do?
for injuries and stuff? Yes. For old people like you, no, because I mean, you're a National League guy,
Yes.
and I mean, you like that the pitchers being able to hit and this and that, but to see your star pitcher go out because of an Achilles injury running to first base to try to help your team, it hurts.
Yeah, I can see that. But that really the reason they changed it, or was they trying to get more action in the game?
No, that's exactly why they changed it.
Okay. Well, like you said, it's took away a lot of the differences in the two leagues when you play the game. But I don't know.
I mean, there is no differences anymore. So here's my MLB expansion plan, and this is just gonna have two divisions for each league. And I mean, it could, we could separate these two divisions in each league and expand on them more. But the Eastern League for the Eastern League and then the East Division, I got the Atlanta Braves, the Cincinnati Reds, the Miami Marlins, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Washington Nationals, and a potential Charlotte Carolina team. I think that Charlotte, North Carolina could potentially be a home for an MLB team. Also, potential expansion team could be Nashville, and I think with the kind of the way that is situated, and yes, they're close to St. Louis, and they're close to uh, Cleveland, they're close to Cincinnati. I think you keep the East, whether it be in Charlotte or Nashville. I think you keep them in the East because that would be a good opportunity for the Atlanta Braves to have a new rival. Potential that you could have another new rival with the Cincinnati Reds, the Miami Marlins. Miami Marlins could have a good rivalry with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Philadelphia Phillies could have a potential good rivalry as an in division team. In the Eastern League North, I have the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, the Cleveland Indians, the Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, the New York Yankees, New York Mets, and Toronto Blue Jays. That is a lot. I understand. But to me, that's the only way that you're going to be able to fit all them North teams in is putting them in one big compact division. And it's going to be tough for a Baltimore or a Minnesota or shoot, even like Cleveland to ever win that division. But I think if you keep it this way and you're going to keep the two leagues separate and do it like I have it drawn up, you're going to have your two division winners and then you're going to have two wild cards or maybe three wild cards and then out of the two division winners, the first round the best team in that league gets the first round by the wild card, and everybody else plays a wild card.
I do like the idea of the state that has more than one team of them teams facing each other more often. I think it made like with football, they used to have the Governor's Cup. They would pass that back and forth and stuff like that.
Right.
I think stuff like that's kind of neat where, the Cardinals and the Royals, say, for example, would face each other. And I think it leaves a lot more enthusiasm with the state. You know what I'm trying to
Oh,
say?
absolutely.
Like that with same with Texas and Houston and the Rangers. I think
Right.
having them. I think it
Yes.
creates a lot more of not controversy, but more excitement. I think.
So the Western League, which would be the Midwest Division, I have the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox. Good inner city rivalry could potentially happen. The Colorado Rockies, the Houston Astros, the Kansas City Royals, the Milwaukee Brewers, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Texas Rangers. I know there's probably, going to be a lot of hate for this, but, Colorado would never win a division. I mean, play better. That's all I got to say is play better. Because the way I'm drawing this up, you have two division winners and three wild cards per league. And then out of the two division winners, whoever has the best uh, record gets that wild card bye, and then you're still selling out for 2-2 or whatever to kind of do it a good old bracket style and match up that way for a your wild card and then your divisional round, and then it would be kind of like it instead of considering like NLCS, ALCS, we could just say Western League Championship Series, Eastern League Championship Series. In the Western Division, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Los Angeles Angels, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Las Vegas Athletics, a potential Portland team, San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and Seattle Mariners. Why I add the potential Portland team is because I think you have to have another team in the Northwest. Because Seattle is literally they have the most travel out of every team. So I think you need to give them another team up there where they could probably play 14, 15 times a year with, and that would save so much on travel. And I mean, it's not that far between Seattle and Portland, so you could share team fans and back and forth. I think it'd be a great baseball atmosphere. And could you imagine a playoff
Yeah,
atmosphere up
but I
there?
don't think it's going to happen this round. Don't they kind of already assume that it's going to be Nashville and Charlotte?
There's nothing set in stone. I mean, nothing is completely set in stone just yet. But I think this will all start kicking off really really hot and heavy in about 2027 to 2029.
What about there should be 4 teams come in? Who do you think the other ones? See if we're on the same thought with Portland. The
So
Charlotte and Nashville, I'm all right with.
I'm okay with Charlotte,
Now, who's
Nashville.
the other one with Portland? You think should go in? See if we're on the same.
To me, I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think Salt Lake City, Utah.
I was thinking Canada,
Okay, I see where you're coming from,
Montreal.
but you can't add another team that you I mean, if you're going to expand, you got to expand some in the east and some in the west. You can't put say five teams
Well,
or
isn't that in
four
Western
teams.
Canada, Montreal?
Montreal's just right across from Toronto.
Oh, okay. I don't know my Canada very
You're
well.
probably thinking Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah.
Vancouver is up there in just
Alberta is also on the left.
but no, I don't, because here's my thought. And a couple of years ago when um Tampa Bay talked about trying to move to Montreal, here's what everybody said: it didn't work the first time. What makes everybody think it's going to work again?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, yes, I understand they're probably wanting their baseball team back. I would too. But if it didn't truly work the first time, why would you try it
See,
again?
what does Salt Lake City has a NBA team,
They
don't
have
they?
an NBA team, yes.
They might work there with the baseball. They might work.
And I mean, could this lead to potentially Oakland getting back into the mix for a
Well, I was
team?
going to say, what about that?
Because I mean, the city of Oakland really, I mean,
It worked.
they just wanted a new baseball
Mhm.
stadium and a better man and a better owner.
Right.
So I mean, I think overall, I mean, if you was to go out and take a poll out in Oakland, I think majority would probably want a baseball team back.
Can the MLB support 4 more teams? The fan base.
See, we're at 30 now. So that would put us up to 34. Then that's kind of when you kind of get to the a little more craziness with realignments. But I think personally, I think we just get to 2 to start out, get to 32 to start out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
You
be
wouldn't say that this is going to be the end of it, though, with that. You could say
no,
10, 12 years, 15 years down the road, maybe adding 2 more.
yeah,
But that I'm telling you, I personally think if you bring it up, add 2 more. And I think that's going to happen, isn't it?
it's very certain that it's going to
Okay,
happen.
here's my thought on it. I think that free agency and salary cap is going to have to be it, especially salary cap is going to have to
Well,
be an issue.
that's it's in the collective bargaining agreement, and they're I mean when you
Players are going to fight it.
oh they already are they're the players union they said to expect a major holdout come the next collective bargaining agreement. And I mean, so I personally, I mean, in a way, I like it. In a way, it's like, yeah, let them make money. But I mean, I
They're
can kind of
making
see,
money. They're still making money, but there's got to be somewhere. I mean, NFL got that way. There's got to be some way you're going to let markets, New York, L.A., Philly, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago. There's no way that teams in markets like Miami or your lower team, Washington, teams like that can
yeah,
compete.
I get that. I mean, you
Those
look at Milwaukee. Look at Milwaukee this year. They had the best team in baseball, but guess what they're ranked salary wise? 18.
18, yeah. Well, even a team like New York that's making there. Even if you go to salary cap, and they're going to. I mean, they're going to make more. They're going to make more and more money. Them teams in those big markets are always going to make more money. They're going to sell more merchandise. They're going to sell. They're always going to do better. Uh, I'm sure they make more probably on their radio deals. Even is probably a higher contract. I'm guessing because that's independent. Isn't that run independent of the MLB? The radio deals. I
Yes.
thought it was. It's done by each team manages that, and so I don't know, but I kind of like the thought, get some excitement for the MLB to think about bringing in 2 more teams, and you don't have a problem. I think Nashville is a really good spot.
So, um, I was just kind of discussing. I think you had kind of walked away. But I was discussing the what would be the Eastern League. Um, in the East Division. So it would be what I have drew up would be the Atlanta Braves, the Cincinnati Reds, the Miami Marlins, Philadelphia Phillies, Pittsburgh Pirates, Tampa Bay Rays, Washington Nationals, and a potential either Charlotte or Nashville.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I would want Charlotte before Nashville just because I think Charlotte is more ready for baseball because I mean, we could say the same thing about Tennessee. I understand that, but I think that area is so hungry for baseball.
You think more so than Nashville?
Yes, because I mean, a lot of Tennessee are still Cardinal fans.
Well, that's true.
I mean, when you get into
What are
North
the Charlotte
North Carolina area, I assume Braves fans.
Braves? Maybe Cleveland.
No, I would say either
What about
probably
Washington? That's still
Washington, Baltimore,
a lot of them's Braves fans. Probably though. You're
probably
probably right.
more Braves fans than anything. But I just think that they're hungry for that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whether it's Charlotte or Raleigh, I think North Carolina will be the first to get a
Well,
team.
Charlotte's their biggest town, isn't it? In the state, and they
Yes,
already support a football teams. Is NBA there?
Charlotte Hornets. Yes,
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. I think it's good. I think that the NFL's probably will end up having at some point an expansion, but the NFL's not going to do it unless they know it's a for sure market.
you would think one of the first places they would have to go would be St. Louis.
Yes. St. Louis is proved with you know with the
UFL.
UFL. Still won't call it XFL. UFL, that St. Louis is ready. It always was. And I don't know where the other potential one for NFL would be, but it's interesting.
Talking league expansions and league realignments for both MLB and potential a new couple teams added to the NFL. So you had said, that they had been proved St. Louis would be a true contender for a new MLB team or a new NFL team. Um, what about maybe possibly a Portland?
That's what I was going to say. That makes the most sense.
Because I mean, here's why I support Portland for MLB and honestly, um,
And their basketball team has been
football.
fine.
Their basketball team has been fine. They've won championships.
Trailblazers?
Yes. Um, that would just cut out so much travel
Yes.
for
I get that.
Seattle, and not only that,
Even like San Francisco, if you
right. But I mean, how far is Seattle and Portland from each other? I mean, what is it,
yeah.
couple hours?
Well, maybe more than that, but still nothing like what they're traveling now. It would even make logistic wise even make sense for Las Vegas and Portland to play. You know what I'm saying? Still a lot different than sending the Washington Nationals to up there in the Northwest or something like. You see what I'm saying?
So between Portland, Oregon, and Washington and Seattle, Washington is 2 hours and 56 minutes.
Okay, I thought it was
so about 3 hours.
Right.
So I mean that's I mean almost like the drive of
The drive.
isn't that about the drive of Kansas City and St. Louis?
Yeah.
Maybe a few minutes closer.
St. Louis a little farther. It's a little farther. It's probably about 4 hours.
So you'd be a few minutes closer.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, though, even some of the California teams and Las Vegas, it even logistically makes sense for them getting
yeah.
a lot more than it does sending teams from central United States or eastern whatever. I don't know what Las Vegas would be from Portland, but nothing like it is from Atlanta to Portland.
I would say it's probably about maybe a 2 hour flight.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hour flight. I mean, I don't know the current. I mean, driving wise would be a long way, but actually flying, it would
flying.
be that far.
And not only is it shorter trips for the players, so they can have more rest and so it's still got to be in the long term over the course of the whole season. Should be saving the franchise money.
Oh, absolutely.
It's got to be a lot cheaper to fly from Las Vegas to Portland than it is, say, from Atlanta or from Cleveland or from the Washington or wherever like that to Portland.
Right. No, I like that. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Potential realignments, potential league expansions. So this is a fun time right now. So a lot of fun speculations and everything that's been going on. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the current MLB standings. There are games still going on at this is recording on August 19th of 2025. So there's still games going on, but wanted to go ahead and give the divisional standings and wild card standings. So, in the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays is in first place at 73 and 53. 5 games behind them is the New York Yankees at 67 and 57. Behind them in third place is the Boston Red Sox at 68 and 58. And in fourth place is the Tampa Bay Rays at 61 and 64. And in last place is the Baltimore Orioles at 58 and 67. The American League Central starts off with the Detroit Tigers at 74 and 53. The Cleveland Guardians is in second place at 64 and 60. The Kansas City Royals are at 64 and 61. The Minnesota Twins are 58 and 66. And in last place is the Chicago White Sox at 45 and 80. The American League West starts off with the Houston Astros at 69 and 56. Game and a half behind them in second place is the Seattle Mariners at 68 and 58. 7.5 games out of first place. In third place is the Texas Rangers at 62-64. In fourth place is the Los Angeles Angels at 60-56 and 60-65. Sacramento Athletics, or just regular old Athletics, are at 56-70. The National League East starts off with the Philadelphia Phillies at 72-53, and in second place is the New York Mets at 66-58. The Miami Marlins are 59-66. And fourth place is the Atlanta Braves at 56-69. And rounding out the National League East is the Washington Nationals at 50-74. The National League Central is with the best team in baseball is the Milwaukee Brewers at 79-46. 8 games behind them at 71-54 is the Chicago Cubs. Third place, holding on to a potential wild card, is the Cincinnati Reds at 66-60, and St. Louis Cardinals at 62-64, and the Pittsburgh Pirates round out the National League Central at 53-73. The National League West starts off with the Dodgers at 71-54. The second place team is the San Diego Padres at 69-56, only 2 games out of that division. And in third place at 61-64 is the San Francisco Giants. And fourth place is the Arizona Diamondbacks at 60-66. And in last place is the Colorado Rockies at 36-89. For quick, both wild card races in the American League, the wild card is held by the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, and the Seattle Mariners. Looking in with 4 or less games out of a potential wild card spot is the Cleveland Guardians at 64-60, and the Kansas City Royals at 64-61. And over on the NL side, this is a lot closer and a lot more interesting. The Chicago Cubs, the San Diego Padres, and the New York Mets all own wild cards. And looking in at 1 game out is the Cincinnati Reds. So that is your MLB standings as of August 19th at 8 o'clock.
And I'm sorry, but where's the Reds at? 1 game out,
They are 1 game out of the wild card.
and it's not over. Not it's far from being over.
Oh yeah, I mean you got a month and 2 weeks left.
And where's our Rockies?
36-89. But
They may think they'll win 50 games.
they are the worst team in baseball, but the Chicago White Sox are almost there. They're at 45-80.
Yeah, there's not. I was noticing that the other day. It's not. They're pretty bad too.
And it's crazy how these divisions and these wild card races will fluctuate and everything. Miami Marlins were 5 games out less than a week ago. Now you look, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But now you look at them; they are 59-66 and 7.5 games out. I would write them and Arizona completely off. And I'll be honest with you, I would write both San Francisco and St. Louis off.
St. Louis has went backwards, haven't they? Somewhat.
They've all went backwards. And I mean, there is the only team that is in the race right now that has any potential is probably the Cincinnati Reds. They're 6-4
Yes.
over their last 10, and they're the hottest wild card runners in the National League. Because you look at the Chicago Cubs, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. You look at the San Diego Padres, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games, and they've lost 4 games in a row. And then you look at the New York Mets, they are 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they've won 2 straight. Yes, they've won 2 straight, but I just see if the Cincinnati Reds continue their hot streak, they're 6-4 in their last 10, they've won 2 straight. They play the Angels later tonight. If they could just continue to win ball games, they have a chance to get that last wild card.
Put your head down and push forward and try to win.
Absolutely. You know, keep everybody out of the clubhouse. I mean, of course, Tito's an old manager. He knows what to do. Just keep them all out and keep them grinding and working.
Well, don't you think this time of the year, teams are injuries, exhaustion, the heat we've had,
Oh,
it's starting to wear down
absolutely,
on some of them.
absolutely,
Unless you're a team that has a lot of depth that you can put a lot of different play, it's really starting to wear on you.
absolutely.
And this heat has been pretty much an entire Midwest and Northeast thing, hadn't it, or Eastern? So
Oh, it's been everywhere.
it's got to be taking its toll on a lot of the players too.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. All righty. So, are you ready for some
NFL
NFL
news.
news?
Yeah, I'll go through some of this stuff here, and the biggest news about the NFL is we're only how far from regular season?
Oh, just a
Thursday
couple.
night kickoff is when
Um,
I was going to have that, and I didn't.
it's coming up here. Why don't you have it available,
I
man?
should have had that available. I apologize for that.
I have worked all week, and I know it's only Tuesday, but like yesterday was busy, and this is my last day of summer, so I don't have
Yeah,
everything ready
it's
to
all over
go.
for you, isn't it?
It's all over.
Are you ready?
Um, like I've been telling people, ready or not,
Here it
here
comes.
it
You kind of
comes.
act like you are, maybe somewhat. But the game one on Thursday night is
It'll be September the 4th, and it is the Cowgirls and Eagles.
a good game, and that's at Philly.
That is at Philly.
Okay. All right, let's talk about some NFL news here. The Indianapolis Colts named Daniel Jones as for at least for Week 1 their starting quarterback. Veteran quarterback Jones has been officially named the Indianapolis Colts Week 1 starter, winning the job over Anthony Richardson. Colts head coach Shane, I'll mess that name up, Steichen, cited Jones' consistency, leadership, and work ethic as a key factor, while injuries and development concerns have delayed Richardson's readiness. And Richardson probably is their future, maybe, if he will develop.
Do you think that the New York Giants moved on from Jones too quickly?
I kind of thought they did. That's
When
kind of
when
what I
when
thought.
when they cut him last year, I was kind of just sitting back scratching my
I
head. I'm
kind of,
like, it's kind of. I mean, yes, he's been there a couple of years. He was there a couple of years, but
unless there's just something that we
I
don't see that they do, or
that's quite possible.
but okay, and the Dolphins signed Matthew Judon. The Miami Dolphins have signed a four-time Pro Bowler, Matthew Judon, to a one-year deal worth $6 million. The veteran linebacker veteran linebacker joins Miami's defense alongside Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Chop Robinson. Head coach Mike McDaniel emphasized that the move followed a purely exploratory visit, not injury-driven. Kind of interesting to see how the Dolphins do. Last year they kind of laid an egg, didn't they? But the year before that they were
Yeah.
they were a pretty good football team. And I've always said
Do you
that
think tongue? How do you say Tua Tagovailoa? Do you think that he'll have? I mean, I assume he's going to be their starting quarterback because I mean he's been there for
yeah, to
several years.
what do we call him? The quick name is it Tung Tuvio or how you
Well, Tua is his first name,
Tua?
and Tua Tagovailoa.
It's easier just to call him Tua, I guess.
Yeah, or the Hawaiian because he is Hawaiian. I mean, this I don't mean that no derogatory meaning or anything,
Right.
but I mean he is. How many concussions has he had
Oh,
now?
poor kid. He has really been. And I've always heard, that every every concussion you get, it makes the next one easier to get.
Yes,
So and he's had a bunch, more than anybody should have in a lifetime.
right.
So
Well, I mean, to me, one is one too many.
yeah, absolutely, one is one too many. We'll have to look at it and see how many he's had in the future. But no, I like the kid. I really do. I think he's a good quarterback.
Oh yeah, he's a lefty too.
Yep. And Mike McDaniel's a coach that I've talked about before that To me, he's got a different.
He looks like he's in a robotics club in
Yeah,
Harvard.
yeah, he's got a different. I'm not going to say different mentality, but there's just something different about him, than what you see from most NFL quarterbacks. He seems like he strikes me as a very intelligent guy.
Right.
But I wish him the best. I hope they do good this year. Moving on, Micah Parsons, Cowboy contract standoff intensifies. Inside, Adam Schefter reports escalating tensions between the star linebacker Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys amid unresolved contract talks. The regulations appear headed towards a potential separation, raising wide-ranging implications across the league. I think they should have franchise tagged him. And maybe they already have before. I don't know, but you don't
Yeah,
really want that
I
going on
don't
for a
know.
long time.
Um,
Franchise tag him, and then you got him for the season.
do you think they trade him?
I think Jerry probably going to want to try to make it work. I'm guessing because he is good. I guess it could come to that, but I mean he could be worth what, at least a second round, couldn't he?
Yeah,
I would say. So I don't know. I think
possibly.
he'll sign in the end, but I think it's really important for the Cowboys for him to sign. I think it's really important for him to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Here's one that you're going to really like. Have you heard about this male cheerleaders now?
I have not heard
Yeah,
this.
male cheerleaders expand across NFL teams. This season, 12 NFL teams, and those teams here in just a minute, have added male cheerleaders to their rosters. Up from 7 teams last season, their presence in routines have sparked backlash online, but teams are defending their inclusive approach. Supporters and the squads involved underscore the move as a meaningful step in evolving sports culture. And those teams are the Vikings, the Rams, and the Patriots are 3 of them. I'm not sure who the rest of them are, but
I have no
so we had
comment.
some last year.
Allegedly.
I didn't ever heard anything about it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say stuff and get nasty emails, but um, mm, each to their own. I guess is the way to put it. It's not really the direction
Yep.
that I was interested in seeing go, but Eagles acquire receiver John. Is how you pronounce his name?
Mechie.
Mechie. Philadelphia Eagles continue bolstering their offense, acquiring wide receiver John Mechie from the Houston Texans in exchange for a 5th-round pick and tight end Harrison Bryant. Mechie joins a strong receiving core that already includes A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Jahan Dotson. What did you think about that being
So
a Houston guy?
I applaud John Mechie for coming back after his year-long cancer treatments and being out for a while. But I think it was time to let him go. We have a good young core. Not really much room for him. I like the depth of getting a tight end. Will he stay for opening day? Probably not. I don't know. But
What
it's
do you mean
also
with that?
well, I don't know if he'll make the roster. He'll get
Okay,
cut
I got what you're
because
saying.
I mean we're still early and I mean we're week
Right.
2 preseason.
That's right. He did. He is one had cancer, isn't he?
Yes.
Where was his cancer?
I don't remember.
Well, as you said, I applaud him for making his return. Also, Matt Schaub proposes international player leverage. Former Texans quarterback Matt Schaub, in a bid for the NFLPA executive director role, has pitched a bold plan: recruit NFL stars to participate in an international trip to Saudi Arabia to strengthen NFL players' negotiating power ahead of the 2031 CBA, drawing parallel to LIV golf investments and tech disruptors. Schaub underscores maximizing player league leverage. I'm sorry, player leverage. And I don't really understand what that's all about, to be honest with you. I read it a couple different times, but it sounds like Matt Schaub is wanting to
It
have it become an
sounds
executive.
like how MLB did uh the trips to India. for
Right.
several years, trying to maximize players and get players. Do I like them going to Saudi Arabia? Yes, because
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, growth to the NFL is important. I mean, we've seen this with wrestling.
Wrestling.
When wrestling entered Saudi Arabia, it was huge,
Mm-hmm. Still is huge.
obviously. So I think this could be something potential. Do I want to see Super Bowls played in Saudi Arabia? No. Do I want to see WrestleManias in Saudi Arabia? No.
No.
But I think if you have a working relationship with Saudi Arabia, I think it's better. Uh, not only from a sports side, but even a political
How
side.
many? I've thought about this before. I got one more thing to mention here, and then we'll wrap up. But I want to say that how many NFL players, MLB players, have been overlooked that's from that area potentially?
Oh yeah, because I mean, because that area, you're in soccer
Right.
area. So I mean, there could potentially be some,
You could
you
have the
know,
next.
kickers, a good wide receiver there, and shoot, even a good
There
quarterback.
could be
So
a Hall of Fame pitcher there that we don't even know about. That's in
absolutely
Saudi Arabia.
right. So I think if you work on trying to get some of these teams and stuff over there, I think it's
Pique the interest.
important.
I think
It's
it's all
important.
good.
So the last thing we have here is the Buffalo Bills under pressure in power rankings. The Buffalo Bills are facing mounting pressure in the 2025. Experts cite increasing expectations to deliver their first Super Bowl win, and particularly high-profile free agent additions. So it's sounding like that they are wanting them to win, 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 and win now. You know, Dad, you've preached this for several years now, but we are in a win now league.
Yes.
What could this mean for their head coach if things don't go well in 2025?
If things don't go well in 2025, I don't know that it means anything for him, but it's possible that they could start saying, "Hey, we've got a really good football team here. Maybe we need to get somebody else to lead it before while we got those players here."
I think Sean McDermott has done a great
Oh, he
job, who
has.
is the head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
But it comes to, well, what
Uh,
have you done for me lately?
I completely understand that and I get that, but I mean, it's I, I know it's difficult because I f- if I feel sorry for, I mean, yes, I kind of feel sorry for, say, the Cleveland Browns fans.
Mm-hmm.
But if I feel sorry for any fan base, it's got to be them Buffalo Bills
Yeah,
fans.
absolutely. And they've stuck in there. They've
Yes,
Here's the thing though that I see possibly Buffalo has a good team. They got a lot of people. I mean, they got some talent on that team. If Sean doesn't get them across playoff line, I could see him thinking, "Hey, well, we got this accumulation of players. Let's bring in a Belichick or somebody like that and see if we can get us across the finish line."
that's possible. That is very possible.
Who's he's very very familiar with the Northeast.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do like that. What are some other coaches that you could potentially see in going in that position? Say hypothetically, if the Buffalo Bills were to move on from Sean McDermott after 2025.
Okay, my opinion, if that would happen, I do think it will be a made man already, not necessarily bringing up a coordinator or something. Um, Maybe somebody might want to make a switch or a change. I mean, I could see. I don't know. Do you see? I feel like that San Francisco head coach.
Oh, oh shoot. Hold that thought. Um,
Shanahan,
yeah,
Kyle.
Kyle.
I could see Kyle making a change at some point, moving somewhere else. So I could see him going after somebody like maybe like a Kyle Shanahan, um, something like that, to bring over. A guy that's already been made that's done well. I'm trying to think who else. Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy's a good one.
He's a good name. Mike McCarthy. Bill Belichick, Mike McCarthy, and like Kyle Shannon's just kind of shooting off the hip, but I could see him after a while ready
Right.
to make a change, moving on somewhere else.
Here's kind of one that could, kind of raise some question marks. What about Sean McVay?
That's true.
I mean, do the Rams stick with him after 2025?
They're fool if they don't. But yeah, you're right. He could almost fall into the Kyle Shanahan situation where maybe he's done good, but he just got him so far, and everybody agrees for a change.
Right. And what about okay, so I know that they said that they were sticking with him this year. How do you feel, what do you think about the Giants head coach? I've always been high on him, and he is back for another year.
I don't see him that anybody that would Buffalo would go after with, even though he is a good coach, but he's not had no success there. So I could see them going after a guy that has had some success, like a McCarthy or Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan or a Bill Belichick, something like that. I could see him going after a guy to.
Now, would it help that I told you Brian Dable, who is the head coach of the New York Giants, was a coordinator in Buffalo from 2018 to 2021?
Well, that could make a difference too. That could.
Say, hey, you were great for us, for those, say 5 years you were here or 4 years, and okay, you went off, you had some success as a head coach. I mean, you may not have had all the resources you needed. You didn't have that star quarterback. Here, you've got that star quarterback locked up. We're, maybe we'll give you a chance.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd forgot about that. He was up there. We talked about that once before, I think.
Because in 3 years in New York, he's went 9-7, 6-11, and 3-14.
It's a miracle that he held onto
But
his job.
yes, and I'll be honest with you, I applaud the Giants for holding him on for
Yeah,
another
for giving
year.
him a chance. I do too. Let me throw out another name for you. What about Riverboat Ron?
Yeah, I don't know. I think his coaching career is probably about done.
Lovey Smith, think is
Oh
too.
yeah,
I think
Lovey's done.
Lovey's stock went down a lot after
Yes,
Houston.
yes. And with Ron Rivera, he is a general manager of the California Golden Bears. Um,
Was that of college?
this is a college team.
Well, he's probably making good money there.
Yes. So
I
could
doubt if he
he?
even has to work if he
Yeah.
don't want.
I mean, could he return to the sidelines? I don't know, but I'll be honest with you,
I'd
I
say he
don't
would
see
if
him.
I'd say he would if he could.
Potential, probably,
But I
maybe.
could see Belichick being somebody that they would be interested in if this don't work out.
Yeah, but I tell you what, and it makes me wonder: could the Giants be giving Dable another year? For the simple fact is, maybe next year Bill Belichick will be ready to
That's
sign
possible too,
an NFL contract
because
again.
that has always been like the perfect hand and the perfect glove. All those years that he spent there as a defensive coordinator. I mean, when he starts talking about the Giants, sometimes he almost gets teared up because there's so much history there. Won 2 Super Bowls there, as a coordinator.
Right.
So yeah, I could see that being a potential landing spot. I really do. I really do. And you could be right on that. That could be they may thinking Dable's, can hold it together and maybe improve the team until Belichick could get there.
Of course, we have seen plenty of teams do this. Um, have a good year and even make the playoffs, but ended up getting fired.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens.
I mean, it happens. So, for example, say that the Giants go out and they win 10 or 11 games, but they lose the first round of the playoffs. That would be their only excuse to fire him.
Yes.
And they would do it because a potential Bill
Belichick,
Belichick.
somebody they could bring in, exactly right. And you touched on something a while ago. Before we go, I'll say this: if at some point Sean McVay becomes available, he'll be sought after hard.
Absolutely.
Short of him having a 1-15 season or something this year, and I don't think
Yes.
that will happen.
No. And I think the same thing with the Kyle Shanahan if he
Yeah, I
ever
think Kyle will
becomes
have his stock will be pretty high too.
we'll take it back down to South Beach. I think Mike McDaniel will be sought out if
Yeah,
he
I
ends
think
up
so.
leaving.
Especially if he could have another good year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another strong season would probably really get some more attention towards him.
Yes.
But you know,
And I tell you one that's kind of interesting. I'll throw out there before we go. I know getting into this, but the Cincinnati's head coach, he's had a couple rough years,
yes,
but he did take him to the Super Bowl.
that's exactly right.
You
And
know, it's like you said, what have you done for me lately?
right,
Could he be one to be on its way out?
this is make or break year for him, I think.
I think so.
It's either if he wins, then he probably will get extensions. If he don't win, then he's probably going to be needing to pack his boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, that's all I have from this point. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good podcast.
It's been a great podcast. Thank you all for listening.
And we got a lot of stuff coming up in the future. Wrestling stuff coming up around the corner.
Yes.
MLB. I mean, we're going to be getting close to playoff time in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. We got
And NFL, we're going to kick off on the 4th.
Yep.
So a lot of stuff coming up in the future.
Week 1 of college football will get a huge start on Saturday, August 23rd, which is coming up really soon. So that's when that kind of officially kicks it off. Fresno State and Kansas will be playing. Iowa State and Kansas State will be playing. So we got some good games going on there, but the really big games start later on in the month for a couple of those big teams. And moving forward, and North Carolina Tar Heels, where Coach Bill Belichick will be coaching, will get its first kickoff under the lights at home on ESPN at 7 o'clock on September 1st. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Like I said, we've got wrestling coming up at the end of the month, and Paris, their world tour is starting. And real quick, I will remind you and remind our listeners and Dad that it'll be an afternoon Raw on Monday. So they are in Europe, so it'll be
right.
afternoon Raw.
What time will that be?
I think it'll be like a 2:30 or 3 start.
Okay.
So that is a one thing that I will remind everybody. It is an afternoon Raw.
They'll still be on Netflix.
It'll still be on Netflix. You can stream it on Netflix afterwards, but if you like to watch it live, you will have to watch it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, whether you take off work or whatever. But like I said, we've got a lot coming up. We've got that coming up at the end of the month. We got Clash in Paris, and then we've got All Out coming up in September, and a potential September PLE for WWE. And Major League playoffs will start in the beginning of October. So a lot of stuff coming up with NFL kicking off their league on September the 4th.
I think your boss would give you an excuse to take off Monday to watch Raw. So I can't miss Raw.
That'd be funny. So we will send it out of here for tonight. We appreciate you guys listening, and you have a good night, and God bless.
Yeah, again, well, thank you very much. I enjoyed it. It's been a good podcast, and we'll see you all again next week. Keep your head up, and tomorrow night's Dynamite, and just watch, support these guys. So you guys have a good evening, and God bless.